Oh, you're not gonna play it first?
Oh shit.
Already messing this up. Please enjoy this.
Enjoy it.
Here's something you'll really like.
We're good.
We're good?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah, we're good.
Tales from the bottom of the ocean.
Tales from the bottom of the ocean. I gotta fix
Tales from
this.
the bottom of the ocean. Just gonna take a sip. Hold on. Fantastic. How are you doing, Steve?
I can't get the camera angle right.
Don't worry about it. All right, so...
I'm not Steve, I'm Mike.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. He's Mike Kempf, and I'm Austin Andrews. Welcome to Tales from the Bottom of the Ocean.
Did you notice the tracksuit?
Yeah, exactly.
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 Mike Kempf, I'm dismay. It's who I am, I'm sorry.
Listen, don't worry about it.
All right. The cameras are like this week because I got to do the producing stuff. So I'm sitting over here, and Austin's over there. But it looks like we're next to each other. You can't tell the difference.
Yeah, let's do... Oh, hold on. Whoops. Yeah, let's put it. Yeah, high five. Yeah. Woo! Area 22. All right. So
style.
Today's episode. All right, Steve.
Yeah.
Is gonna be on aesthetics.
Uh huh.
Yeah. It's gonna be on aesthetics. What do you know about aesthetics, Steve?
All right. I'm not used to doing this part, so give me a second. Aesthetics. Things that are pleasing to your visual senses.
Visual.
I can't say, because the way I treat art is I treat art as something that's aesthetically pleasing. That's what I call art.
Yeah.
But
so does it have to have that as a prerequisite, or?
No, but I always consider art as something that makes you feel something. You know.
In here.
And then in this dog scented jacket.
Yeah.
All right, I'm just gonna take this off.
All right.
I'm graduating. I'm sorry. Mike Kempf is evolving into his Tommy Bahama attire. Oh, yeah. There we go. Now we're talking. This is like the real fat boy attire.
All right, but I have the definition here, Steve. Aesthetics is a branch of philosophy that deals with the nature of art, beauty, and taste, with the creation or appreciation of beauty.
What does the definition taste like?
Wait, what?
What does the definition of aesthetic taste like?
What does it taste like?
Yeah.
Probably like jerky. In fact, pass me one.
Oh, are you kidding? I'm gonna break the illusion.
Yeah, pass me one. Hold on.
I gotta break the illusion.
Yeah. Just throw it.
I'm not throwing this shit.
Whoops.
You got it.
Yeah.
Woo!
All right.
I feel like I could be in the Beach Boys, but like an emo Beach Boys.
This is Delta 99er. Can I get an F in the chat for all our boys out there?
Oh, it reminds me, I gotta view the chat rooms.
All right.
Hey, Mike, thanks for tuning in, but I'm you.
All right, but to continue on, it is defined as the study of subjective and sensory emotional values. Studies how artists imagine, create, and perform works of art, how people use, enjoy, and criticize art, and what happens in their minds when they look at paintings, listen to music, or read poetry and understand what they see and hear.
Wow.
Yeah.
Those are definitely some words.
Well, we're gonna talk about what those all mean together. So,
Yeah.
basically, it's involving all parts of the human mind and, well, basically art as an entire medium, or art as a thing.
Art's a thing?
Yeah.
Whoa. That's something.
It's a noun, dude.
It's a
Art.
noun?
Yeah, person, place, or thing.
Oh my god.
It's not a person. It's not a place. It has to be a thing.
Oh no. I wasn't ready for this kind of realism. I'm sorry.
It also describes the criteria of a particular art movement. So obviously, we decided to go for. I hope that didn't sound like absolutely awful. Just me like chewing right in the mic. But obviously, I'm going for a more retro-esque aesthetic.
This is just my normal attire.
Yeah.
I'm
so
always wearing sunglasses when I engineer. I'm sure you all could tell.
Yeah, Steve is Steve aesthetic, basically. But one of the things I want to talk about is the difference between style and aesthetic, because there is an actual difference. But what do you think the difference is, Steve?
Aesthetic is the visual component, and style is the subjective component to alter the aesthetic.
Wait, say that again?
Aesthetic is the visual component, or a sensory component, the part that appeals to the senses, and style is the subjective component to that. Like, this is a microphone. Oh, you can't see it. This is a microphone,
Yeah.
but it's a black style, and it's like a studio style, you know?
Oh, okay.
But it's still, like, nevertheless aesthetically a microphone. And whether or not you find it aesthetically pleasing is the subjective aspect of that.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much on the nose.
I'm sorry to break this to you, chap, but I'm Mike.
He is unfortunately Mike.
I'm
now.
Mike.
Listen, take all your concerns about who is Mike and who isn't Mike with the.
I have the tracksuit.
Yeah, exactly. Take all those concerns with our HR department or our PR department.
What's next, Daddy Austin?
Number for them is going to be in the description, but I have basically what you had just said, like maybe a little bit more fleshed out, and maybe some conflicting ideas that you might be able to.
Man, you like staples.
Bounce off me. A staple is a staple. A style completely threw me off there. A style is simply a form of expressing something. Like one can speak in a Victorian era style or wear Victorian dress wear. Aesthetics is different. It is the way by which some styles come together to create a culture.
What are you?
Designs.
What are you doing?
Wait,
Sorry, I gotta look the right way. What are you doing with your hat?
What do you mean?
You look different.
Listen.
Were you born in West Philadelphia?
No, I'm just actually born and raised. No, I'm just swapping around the aesthetic a bit. Don't worry.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna.
Well, it's interesting that you say that, because it is. If I wear my hat like this, I look like I'm supposed to be trucking goods along Highway 95. But if I wear it like this,
Now you're on Route 66.
yeah, exactly. No, it looks like I'm supposed to be in West Philadelphia, born and raised. Doesn't it? No, it's a very
Austin
important.
looks like DJ Jazzy Jazz.
Yeah, no, it's a very important distinction, because like what really is the difference between just wearing the hat like this and wearing it like this? Completely different aesthetic.
Chromosomes.
Wait, what?
Chromosomes.
I wish Mike were here.
I'm back.
But
couldn't
no,
handle
really,
that
what it really is the difference, like the main point of contention, like.
Every degree you get more and more exiled from society. That's how it works.
Wait, what?
If you have your hat centered, then you're socially accepted.
Yeah.
If you turn your hat slightly, then you're accepted by the less socially accepted areas, and turn it to the side, then you're going to unemployment. That's where it's going.
Jesus Christ.
You're just spinning your way from
just
unemployment.
ignore the blatant racial undertones of that statement. Just ignore. I'm just gonna move on. Actually,
Hi, I'm Mike. How are you?
going off of the culture of designs, which usually affects all of your senses and may even lead you to making judgments or feeling certain emotions almost against your own wishes.
Against my own wishes?
Yeah, well, because like when you take in an aesthetic, you're obviously being bombarded with a lot of different. Feelings
yeah,
and
no.
emotions.
There's like music. I guess the best way to showcase that is like, if you were to, if I was to show like some really heavy metal to
Yeah.
someone who listens to pop, they would be utterly disgusted and they would probably blacklist me. but other people might find it like completely great and doesn't change the aesthetics of the art. The art is objectively what it is. It's how you perceive it that is the style. Did I do that right?
I mean, yeah, it's a point that you can have. Yeah, sure. I guess like what I was gathering from the literature that I was consuming about it was that aesthetics kind of like it's taking style and it was taking different styles and like putting them basically into a larger sort of.
You gotta yank that. You got to yoink the mic a little closer.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
It's basically taking like all those styles and like turning them into a sort of like meta style, basically.
Okay.
Like I mean, we're gonna do an art study so I can tell all y'all what I mean. But like, let's say if I were to take off the glasses, right?
Those come off.
Say I were to take off the glasses, like
Whoa.
The aesthetic is diminished somewhat because I don't have the glasses. Let's say I just took off this hat.
I don't know what I'm looking at.
Well, now I just kind of look like a lumberjack, I guess. But let's say I put on the glasses.
Whoa. Now you're an aviator.
Yeah, actually, these aren't really even aviators. If I put them on, well, I just kind of look like a lumberjack who's also like a douchebag. But if I put
you look like a lumberjack who loves the party rock anthem.
Yeah, if I put the hat on and turn it this way, then I look like a. I mean, like you see how the adding different styles can utterly destroy the aesthetic or turn it into a new one. Mm-hmm. Like now I look like I'm back in the sort of retro wave style that I was supposed to be in.
I can't see a single thing.
Or if I even took away this Arizona can. I mean, we all know that Arizona cans, especially of this
Arizona cans, located in New York,
are supposed to be are part of that sort of vaporwavy, retro-y aesthetic. If I put it back in the shot, well, even take a sip. It's good. It's good. No, that wasn't discussed. It just went down the wrong pipe. Now we're back on the sort of retro-wavy aesthetic.
All right. So retrowave. Give me the retrowave breakdown. We go into retrowave images.
Hold on. I want to actually ask you some questions first.
Oh boy.
What determines how we react to an aesthetic, and what makes an aesthetic popular at all, Steve?
An aesthetic nowadays, I'd say, would be popular due to its relevance. Like if it has like a political statement, or if it has like if it's something that can either be instantly appealing with instant gratification without having to analyze it, or if it has a statement that people agree with in modern sense. Back in the day, it was more focused on kind of the stroke work and the motions and brilliance behind it.
Yeah.
Art's a real like shoot in the barrel though. Like you don't know, like Vincent van Gogh could have easily just not have been discovered and lived poor for his entire life, even though he did. But you like just when you're looking at art of that time, it's not. There's no determining factor on what makes it great, aside from the people afterwards who'd say that's a good piece of art. Like one piece of art isn't inherently better than the other unless the artist is worth something or dead. Not even joking. That's how it works.
Oh yeah, no. Yeah.
Welcome to the art industry. Remember, kids, if you want to sell paintings, just die first. You're good.
Remember, kids. Wow. Canceled from the bottom of the canceled. That's actually what those Japanese characters mean. This means canceled from the canceled to the canceled, basically.
Oh boy,
we're on a roll.
We are on a roll.
Soon it'll just be like two stick figures.
And that is true. If it
and before a camera.
Welcome to die. If it is popular, you could make a meme of it. That's true. Memes are considered art that can be aesthetically pleasing.
I guess what determines how we react to it. Like, I mean, you already kind of answered it. It's like the social diaspora, basically.
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah, like
whatever that means.
Like, I mean, like in the little film reel you saw beforehand, the Comic Sans of the black box that was like in front of my license plate that just said no. I mean, I think that's really, really funny, but like my mother probably wouldn't really understand why it's funny, because for one thing, she doesn't understand.
I'm glad you found it funny because it saved me about 30 minutes of work.
What's the word? It obviously the Comic Sans as a font has its own sort of implications as a cultural like sort of piece, and the fact that it's just a black square, I mean, it's very ironic, isn't it? And I love irony. I love irony.
It's actually a trapezoid.
Whatever, the black little trapezoid. Like obviously, it's very ironic. I mean, you couldn't have. Like, it's ironic. Like, what can I say? It's just ironic humor, and people really flock to that nowadays. So.
It's ironic and cringe humor are actually some of the most popular forms of humor nowadays.
Yeah.
And then there's like Amy Schumer somewhere there.
Yeah.
Same
Well, we won't
approach.
talk about Amy Schumer just yet, because one of these days we'll bring her on and have her explain herself.
All right, Amy Schumer, you're going to come down to the bottom of the ocean with us.
Why are you bad? No. No. All right. So we're gonna
Man,
do.
this is some good ocean jerky.
Oh, jerky. Yo, pass it. No. I actually don't want any more. But Steve, I want to compare two aesthetics that people have definitely heard of.
Mm-hmm.
How would you compare the aesthetics of Skyrim to the Lord of the Rings?
Lord of the Rings is way more colorful. Skyrim's more gray.
Yeah, it's blue, like definitely bluish grays. Yeah,
And
definitely.
and whites, and
Yeah.
it's like lighter shades of gray. And then also there's like really perfect cyans. And Lord of the Rings is more greens and sky blues, and it's like really vibrant browns.
Yeah. How about sensory and sensory?
Skyrim is more of a melancholy kind of like melancholy morose kind of feel, and then you have like Lord of the Rings, which is more kind of hopeful. Unless things go down.
Yeah, despite the story, it is actually kind of hopeful in comparison.
Because New Zealand, it's like a pretty gorgeous place.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that everyone who lives in New Zealand hates Peter Jackson for the movies. But you know how it goes. They need to build a wall for us.
But yeah, no, that's totally true. The hold on,
These guys are great. Buy my game.
hold on.
Mike's still here. It's me. I'm Mike.
Yeah, like especially like going deep. Like I compare the scene when they went into Moria with some of the dungeons in Skyrim. Like in Skyrim, it's like a completely different color palette. A lot darker. Like in Moria, obviously it's bigger. In Moria, like it's massive.
But even the vibrant, well lit areas, like if you're outside of Riverhold, is that what it is? Riverhead? No, it's not Riverhead. Riverhold.
No, it's Riverhold. It's Riverhold.
If you're outside Riverhold and it's like nice and sunny out, or you're outside Whiterun or whatever, it's like even when it's bright and sunny out, and even with like the ENB patches and everything, it just still kind of feels gloomy.
Yeah.
It could just be because it's also 2011, so not a lot of detail.
No, I think that's what they were trying to go for, though.
Oh, maybe. I mean, it's Norse.
Yeah.
You don't really remember Norse stuff being very colorful. You think of a lot of blues and grays.
Because they were far up north, basically.
Yeah, Blood Eagles.
But no, yeah, and that does make a lot of sense. Like the elves in Skyrim as well, like had a totally different feel than the way that they did in the Lord of the Rings. In the Lord of the Rings, they had this very sort of mystical sort of feel, especially the elves of what's that particular character that gives Frodo the little bottle of water?
I don't watch Lord of the Rings.
Fair enough, but like there is like
Full disclosure, I do not like the movies.
I probably should have researched the exact actress, but she's like very, very famous in the series for like marrying Aragorn at the end of the entire series. But where she came from, like it was extremely vibrant, but the elves, obviously in Skyrim and even in the Elder Scrolls, they kind of lacked that. They kind of lacked that very extreme sense of.
That's actually very interesting
wonder.
because like Skyrim, you have the Daedra, right? And the Daedra are like a steel and red and orange kind of color scheme.
Yeah.
But you don't see a lot of that in Skyrim. You see it in Oblivion. But when you're looking at Lord of the Rings and you're looking at the evil stuff like Mordor and whatever, that's like the very prominent look, like aesthetic. See, Mike, we're talking about the show's relevant content.
Why are you talking to yourself?
I don't know. I hear demons.
You hear Daedra. Anyway.
Have you heard of the elves?
And even the dwarves in which were the Dwemer in Skyrim versus the dwarves in Tolkien, like in Tolkien's work, they had a completely different aesthetic, like basically almost unrecognizable, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean it's like also Lord of the Rings was like one of the first-ish kind of like movies that really showcase that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like before like the movies, and if you ignore the books, you have like games like Dungeons and Dragons where you had to like imagine what elves looked like. So
yeah. It's interesting how the styles changed over time.
Yeah. Now we go from imaginary styles to full motion pictures.
Basically. All right, so
and then we still play imaginary.
We're gonna do art studies. Excuse me.
Okay, so we're on episode 1 of the art studies.
Yeah, episode 1.
You label them in episodes. Okay.
Oh, well,
first one.
So This is by a good friend of mine named Aaron Brown.
Hello, Mr. Brown.
Aaron, this is called what the hell? Oh, it's called Lonely Nights, and I actually got commentary from him about it. He sort of wrote to me that it's mainly about being content with oneself and self-reflecting, like, inwardly, and how a lot of people kind of see it as sort of depressing or feeling a very melancholy mood, but it's not really about feeling melancholy. It's about feeling whole. Yeah. And this is, and let me just
it's hard for me to see the colors with my glasses, but
yeah. Well, let me just preface this by saying that this is the first aesthetic that we're going to approach is retro wave, and Aaron did tell me that this is a very retro wavy sort of melancholy-esque.
Well, yeah, I mean, retro wavy. When I think of retro wave, I do think of like the like purplish blues and like the bluish pinks. Like when I made the thumbnail, like that's the first thing that went into my mind.
Yeah.
Was I always picture like blue and pinks, like the neons, you know?
Yeah.
As like representing retro wave, because that was like a very retro thing. So this perfectly captures that feel in terms of coloring.
Yeah, and it's not only that, but like the blues and the darker colors definitely do invoke that sort of feeling of melancholy, which is why I understand that people say that it might be the subject of that picture, that person right there on the wall, might be sad. But it's like I can at the same time it is hard, like it's hard to assume a relatively positive emotion such as contentment from that.
Yeah, it's like. Just like even looking at the character's face, the character looks like defeated, you know?
Yeah.
Just kind of like everything's weighed it down. And and even like the clothes look very kind of like plain in color, you know?
Yeah, which is very retro wavy.
Yeah. So aside from that, I don't know. It's just like the broken house, the like cracked door, things like that, like those details that I can barely see behind these glorious shades.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's something.
But for one thing, let me just say that it's a very nice piece, and thank you for Aaron for.
It's definitely gorgeous. Good job, whoever, Aaron Brown, and at lux.jii.
Don't worry, we'll put that in. We'll put that in the description. I'll plug his Instagram so you guys can check out more of his pieces and even commission him if he's feeling willing. But also, don't, like, just gonna put this as a disclaimer. If you didn't like the piece, do not harass him. I will find you. All right, so.
I mean, he knows where I live, so. All right, next
very,
piece.
very beautiful. Thank you.
Next piece.
Aaron. Now, this is just a picture of clothes, obviously, but it does.
They look warm.
Huh?
They look warm.
Yeah. But it is again a very retro wave-esque sort of piece, or not even a piece. It literally is just a picture, but it's retro wave. But I wanted to sort of talk about why it is retro wave.
All right, why is it retro wave?
Why is it retro wave?
Yeah, you say you want to talk about why it's retro wave.
Oh, for
okay.
Like, what I see as the reason I think it's retro wave is because the colors are very simple. The way that the clothes are organized is very symmetrical because it's along the same pole, obviously, but still, like, it's keeping within the same sort of style, which is like these sort of neons.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I'm trying to visualize this. As I'm looking at it, I view it not as retro, but as 90s. It looks
that's not retro?
I'm just saying my perspective of this.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
It looks very like late 80s, 90s style, where it's like you see the clothes look like something that I would see on Saved by the Bell.
Okay.
But like in the grunge Saved by the Bell.
Yeah, fair enough.
But it's yeah, like the even the lighting, like you have a perfect like gradient from light to dark on the wall if you look at that.
Yeah, no, definitely.
And then you see like the clothes kind of like get darker in shadows, but you still have like that one blue piece sticking out that your eye kind of gets drawn to.
Yeah.
But
this doesn't have the same kind of melancholy as the previous picture.
It doesn't have any melons at all, so.
No, it doesn't have the same kind of melancholy, but the thing is that the thing that still makes it retro wave is the colors and the setup of the actual subjects in the picture along with the lighting, which again, like, it's taking, like I said, it's taking so many different styles. Like it has its own style of lighting, its own style of coloring, and its own style of structure, and it comes together to create this sort of what's the word? It's not melancholy. It's like to sort of recall something or to remember it, like nostalgic sort of feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's yeah. I guess it's nostalgic. I mean, it's nostalgic from before my time, but
Yeah.
it does have like a more throwbacky feel. So,
All right. So
I give it a 2 out of 10.
I gave it a 1.5 out of 5.
Next piece.
Next piece. Now this is obviously classic retro wave.
This is like old school Dixie Cup art.
Yeah.
This is like what you would see if you're in like one of those like super hip hospitals on your gown.
Yeah. This is like the art that you see in those bumpers, like that are showcasing like the next generation of 90s computer, 80s computer.
This art just screams Pogs.
What is that?
You don't know Pogs? The little disc things that people collected in the 90s? And they have like little pictures on it. You don't know Pogs?
Hell no.
Oh, we need to get some help for this boy. They're like the 90s version of Mighty Beans. Do you know Mighty Beans? Awesome.
I was born in 97, bro.
You're killing me, man.
I'm sorry.
Mighty Beans were like the 2000s version of Silly Bands. Do you know those?
I probably all knew those at a point, but it's just all out of my head.
Yes, bowling alley carpet. We were getting that from the chat. That's a very valid
Oh, yeah, no.
presumption.
Right. Who said
that? Tanya and not Mike. Anti-Mike.
No, yeah, that's a very good description for it. Bowling alley carpet, that's a very good description for it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it's pleasing, but I can just also imagine seeing these symbols on a CRT TV like bouncing about.
Oh, yeah. Oh, do you think that was like the inspiration for it?
For this?
Yeah.
Simple. Like they wanted a simple pattern without being too simple. That's like the best way I could describe it.
Mm-hmm.
Like having like when you have those floors with like different colored tiles, but they're very small, like an inch by an inch.
Yeah.
And you have them just kind of all over the place. It's like you have a black one here and there on like a white floor. It's like it's enough to keep it broken up, and I think that's the point of this.
Okay, fair enough.
And I think that was like the zeitgeist when like thinking about 90s art.
All right, next piece. Nice one.
Next piece.
Next piece.
This looks like art.
That's actually just a picture.
This looks like a picture of art. This picture. Or is it? I don't know. I'm blind.
No, it's a picture. But the thing is, like, this is just one of the many things that came up, obviously, when I was looking for retro wave art. And I was looking for the ones that weren't particularly obvious because I wanted, I was going to obviously have us dissect them a bit.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, why do you think this is considered retro wave?
I don't know. I don't think retro when I see this. I think, like, 16th, 17th century.
Really?
Yeah, that's the color.
With a blow dryer?
No, the color scheme.
Oh, okay.
Like the pinks and the rose red and like the champagne colored stuff. I'm maybe thinking way too much into this.
I think Sailor Moon.
Like the anime?
What?
The anime?
Yes.
The anime?
Yeah.
Based on the mango?
Yeah. Based on the anime based on the mango.
Gotcha, the animes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like it's stuffed with things. I'm trying to see it, but I can't see it beyond my spectacles of.
Listen.
Fortitude.
It's fairly simple. Like.
All right, I see cookies.
Well, I mean, the color scheme is it is kind of neon. Like if you notice,
greens.
Like, it's filtered with like a sort of like brighter sort of filter that makes it sort of pop out a little bit more. So that's one thing. And the pinks and the sort of red and like the sort of oranges, like they're all, like, for one thing, they're all within the same gradient. The whole thing is within the same sort of color scheme. But it does invoke, at least in my opinion, like a feeling of nostalgia, which is one part.
Mm-hmm.
Like the interesting thing, like that all these pieces that we've been looking at have in the retro wave aesthetic is that they all are missing one thing, but have other parts to them that make them sort of retro wave.
Oh, yeah, I can see that. I think, yeah, I mean that sounds like a perfect thing to it. One thing I noticed is that this piece is definitely like probably the most busy one.
Yeah,
this isn't like the most aesthetic one. Yeah, I guess you could say.
I think it does have it. It
has an aesthetically pleasing aspect, but it's not like the wide space aesthetic like
the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's take a look at the next one.
Yeah, but again, it's like to show how when you add up the different styles, they do kind of fit within the same sort of aesthetic, but how some can have one style that's different from the other. But it's interesting.
Yeah,
because like it's all invoking a particular kind of emotion. It's to me, this does invoke a sort of like sentiment of like recollection or like of these sort of olden times. But yeah, like
yeah. All right, so let's go to the next one.
So we're going to look at cyberpunk, the aesthetic.
My favorite art style, right by retro stuff.
Yeah.
Oh man, I love this.
Yeah, look, this is from Cyberpunk 20. What was it again?
77?
Wait, what?
2077?
No, it's 2070.
Oh, 2077 is the new one.
No, no, it's still called 2070.
No, the new one's 2077.
I'm pretty sure it's 2070.
Nope.
No, because it's based on the old one, isn't it?
It's based on the RPG board game, but it's called 2077. I'll pull up the Googles.
Let's see, because I'm pretty sure it's 2070.
Cyberpunk 2077. Yep, that's the thing.
Really? Oh.
And we can look up original. Let's see if there was a 2070. Let's look that up.
Wait. 2077 as in...
The CD Projekt Red game.
As in 2077 or 20,
Yeah, 2077.
Oh, I'm thinking you're saying 2777 for some reason.
2077.
Yeah, no, I'm stupid. Never mind.
It's like 1T1, but with sevens.
Yeah, don't worry. I'm completely messing this up. But so right off the bat, use of holograms. So that holographic sight on the gun.
Is that holographic?
Yeah. I mean, it has to be. It has to be, because like, for one thing, it'd be pretty stupid if it was just like a sight with like a red.
Oh, the sight! I thought you said the side.
No, the sight.
Oh, the sight's definitely holographic. From here, it looks like his eye.
And one thing I want to bring really big attention to, which is the reason why I chose this piece, is if you look on the top, it says police on his head. And have you seen a police officer that's that heavily armed?
Britain.
I mean, obviously, if it's not like a raid, like let's say you had police officers walking around in your normal everyday life, like a beat cop that was armed with a freaking heavy assault rifle like that.
Britain. If you buy a plastic knife under 18,
Jesus Christ! Oh my God, Steve, you're killing me.
No, the image is like it looks more augmented than heavily armored to me.
You think so?
Yeah, augmentations, and also the cyberpunk aspect from it, like it's from the coloring from it.
Oh yeah, definitely from the coloring, but like I'm talking about like. In most cyberpunk universes that I know, at least, like since society has
That's a face.
Wait, what happened?
That's a human face.
What are you talking about?
On the guy. On in the image, you can see like little skin around the sight.
Oh no, I wasn't saying he was a cyborg.
No, I'm saying he was augmented.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Well, he probably is, like in ways that you just don't know. But the point I'm trying to make is that like the reason I chose this is that the aesthetic in most cyberpunk universes that I know of, the armed forces, like the military, like the things that maintain public order are always insanely heavily armed.
Yeah.
And the reason is because technology is transcended to such a degree where like everybody has access to so many different pieces of technology that if the police wasn't state of the art in almost every single way, then it would be rampant crime. At least that's what the reason that most cyberpunk governments give.
To me, I would think it's more the fact that just technology is cheaper.
Yeah.
So they can like further innovation. Yeah.
It's very cool. It's very cool. Like the armor, the bits of the armor you can see, like the heavy. Like that weapon looks like a very heavy caliber, and obviously like the kickback of it would be insanely high. But the fact, like he probably has some like level of augmentation that makes the recoil not so like hindering to his aim. Like there's a lot of things you can infer is what I'm trying to say, but it just screams right into your face, cyberpunk.
Yeah,
it's very good. Yeah. All right, next one. This is another Cyberpunk 2077 on wallpaper.
This is gorgeous.
That's too. It's zoomed in.
Is it zoomed in?
Yeah, it's supposed to be like a big picture.
I did the big click. Hold on. These will no longer cooperate with me. Hold on. There we go. I fixed.
There we go.
Fixed.
Now
what if it was purple?
Now, another thing I wanted to bring attention to is the use of advertising there. Now, like if you notice in the background, there's a lot of different products being advertised. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, yeah. I'm sorry. I'm trying to make sure that this stuff is fine.
Yeah.
I need to take these off. I'm
It's
sorry.
fine.
I'm giving up the aesthetic.
I mean, I'm good, but you,
I can't see anything.
If you want to betray the aesthetic, it's fine. You know?
I will come over to that room and I will. Is that that looks like the Batmobile?
It kind of. Well, obviously, like in all the aesthetic pieces that you really do see, there's always the showcasing of technology. That's like the really big focus.
Yeah.
And like how deeply it's integrated into people's lives. Like if you can see really closely, I believe that man before that car is sort of. I think he's smoking, but he's also augmented a little bit. I believe in his arm. It's all about how technology has integrated into our lives so deeply that it's become like a part of us in so many different ways.
Yeah, I mean, it's like this looks like exactly like what. Let me just lower this a little bit. This looks exactly like everyone would predict the future to look, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like once we got past the phase of people saying, "Hey, the future's going to be all like silver and shiny, and we're going to be wearing boxes for shirts," kind of thing. Once they got past the Back to the Future 2 style of like the future,
Yeah.
we're thinking more along the lines of like everything slowly turning to digital natures.
Yeah.
However, in the future, I don't see the need for like massive buildings like that too. So looking at just like this art style, it definitely seems like it's a pessimistic but hopeful image.
Yeah, but that another thing is that like the whole thing with big buildings, that it wants to be right up in your face. That's the thing.
Yeah,
Like it wants it to be right up in your face. Like, hey, this is the future. You know.
it does.
Obviously.
It does have like the jarring effect of like driving into New York City.
Yeah, exactly.
But also like the character of the art is like sitting afar from it, like distancing themselves from this world.
Yeah.
But also looking back at what they're leaving.
Now,
maybe?
that's really important. I want to focus on what you just said. Like usually the human subject in the cyberpunk pieces is very distant from the is distant from the technology in the sense that it's showcasing. Okay, so here's the human subject and you're supposed to relate to, and then here's the rest of the world, which is like this massive thing that's completely out of his control, which is, again, the theme of so many cyberpunk stories, that like technology, it's going out of control, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, I just thought of a song. I definitely see where you're coming from with that. And plus the gradients of the sky too shows light pollution.
Yeah.
So
there's no stars.
Yeah, no, that's what's really interesting about this.
That's
too.
a really cool detail that
Yeah.
you just pointed out. Like there's no stars.
Yeah, there's I can't see now that I'm doing things. You see the moon very faintly. I don't know if that means that like if it's referring to the term like it's darkest just before the dawn.
Yeah, maybe.
Or because like it looks like the sun's maybe rising, or if it's just light pollution.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Imagine the smell. No, but really, imagine the smell. Like, imagine how like it must smell where he's standing right there. Like it must smell like the stench of humanity, really. Like,
yeah. Oh, and
exhaust and stuff like that.
Not Mike. I'm referring to not needing space due to digital nature of the future. Because he said buildings will be taller the more island we take up. But he says it's inevitable. I think that we're just going to go more digital in a digital nature.
Maybe.
All right. So next piece.
Yeah.
Okay.
Next piece.
Howdy.
What?
Howdy.
Wait, that's not the next piece.
That is the next piece.
Uh-oh.
That's the next piece.
Oh.
Did you then? Did you?
No, I had a scene from Blade Runner, but honestly, I think we proved our point.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. But
I don't got no Blade Runner here.
Yeah, don't worry about it. But
is this Blade Runner?
Is it?
I think this is Blade Runner. Hold on, I'm gonna do this. I think this is it. Is this it?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. You put that as 11. So anyway.
Art. Art. Scene from Blade Runner. One of the premier cyberpunk movies. I think that was honestly the movie that like accelerated it into like the
I'm just going to
popularity.
allow people to see the full image.
Yeah. Again, one of the things I noticed with cyberpunk pictures is that of cyberpunk art is that they really do focus on they blow up images of the human face,
Yeah.
like as a means of advertising. And I think it's to sort of like say that our lives will be consumed with. But it's basically making the case that we're gonna get consumed by our consumerism. Basically.
See, when I saw this is this from the 2049 or the original?
I think it's from the original.
Well, when I was watching 2049, because I didn't see the original, I was watching it, and you see there's a scene where, what's his name? The main actor.
Harrison Ford.
No, Ryan Gosling, I think it was.
Oh, the new one, yeah.
He was walking back back from like the final battle, and you just see this like giant, like 100-foot tall advertisement of like, I think it's for a strip club or something, and the girl's like in like her underwear, and you just see that she's getting really close up and everything, and you're like, and I'm just sitting there thinking, man, they're really amplifying, like they're amplifying what they think the general audience wants, which is sex appeal.
Yeah.
And seeing these movies, I don't remember ever seeing like a really massive poster with the male's face on it.
Yeah, that's the thing.
So, I mean, I guess it shows that maybe the future is male dominated with that, in that respect. Because, I don't know if a future dominated by women would want to have men's face on the walls, or no faces, or all the faces.
Well, I'll save
22 of them.
I'll save an episode to comment maybe on something like that, on whether the future is more male or female dominated. But the point that I think you're making correctly is that they're focusing on what people want more than anything.
Yeah.
Which is the nature of advertising, obviously, but it's being taken to such a degree where it's like literally consuming the sides of entire buildings like this right here.
Yeah, and it's also it's just, I think it's also the fact that like the coloring pair with this too, like even the makeup is like that pinkish red, and the really dark eyeliner showing like covering the imperfections that exist, I guess could be symbolic for,
you know, I was thinking of when I was home like getting this picture, she looks like kind of like Doge. She kind of does, right? Wow, flying car.
Why?
Much cyberpunk. Why?
All right, next one.
On the next aesthetic that we will be examining, it's the Old West.
And look at all those dots.
I
I put more detail on the previous image. Yeah, look at this. We're in the Wild West. Woohoo!
We're in old Kentucky, I guess. No.
Is this Django?
I don't think so. No, but it is pretty much the stock image I found of a cowboy leaning against the.
Looks like Django. Looks like a scene from Django. It looks like a Tarantino kind of shot.
Yeah, it does kind of look like Tarantino shot. But
it looks like if this was on the cover of Hateful Eight.
Maybe, yeah. But I want to compare and contrast this to the very first image that we saw, the one by Aaron.
Yeah. You want me to pull that up?
Yeah. Like,
okay.
You can swap back to it for a good second.
Original.
Now go back to the other one.
Frig. Fade. All right.
Now the thing is, like, the thing I want to point out is that, like, notice the subject. Like, I mean, you can easily make the case in both pictures that they're feeling sort of melancholic. But you can also make the same inference that the subject is more content more than anything else. You know?
Or cast away.
Yeah.
Like a pariah, because that's what cowboys do.
Yeah.
One of them pariahs.
But the thing is that, like, what I'm trying to say is that you notice how these styles, when they clash, they create these different kinds of moods that are very similar to each other, but are just missing one thing that turns it into a completely different aesthetic, or has one thing that.
This one's very plain. It's like bleach white.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the things about the Old West. Like, to characterize it has gritty sort of browns, beiges, and sort of dark whites.
Yeah, and it's also, I mean, there's a lot of browns, which makes sense because a lot of leather and like horse hide and cowhide and whatever.
And dirt, basically.
Doit. But it's also very foggy, like, I guess shrouded clarity.
Yeah.
So
he could be staring off into the big unknown, unsure about his future, that sort of thing.
Or staring at like some cow getting milked.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Or staring out at a train or something like that. It's interesting, but needless to say, like the old sorry.
No, you're not.
The Old West does also invoke a kind of nostalgia that you also do find in the first picture, which is what I really wanted to point out. All right, on with the next one.
This one is called Items on the Wall.
Yeah, items on the wall.
Is that actually what it's called?
Hung up. I just put hung up at and go. These are all stock images, so it doesn't really matter too much. But again, like the sort of wide brimmed hat, the lasso. I think that's the lasso. The leather jacket. Like these are all classic sort of.
Yeah, it's the lasso. I thought you were saying it's a whip. I'm like, no.
No. These are all very classic cowboy aesthetics. Like, and the thing is that like I want to also point out is that like why. Obviously, it's coming from history, but again, like it stays within the same gritty kind of brown, gray, and things mixed with white gradient.
Yeah, it's also the greens, like the moss.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Like, yeah, like the moss. Like it gives off a really earthy, homey sort of vibe, which is properly characterized the Old West because that was the land that was meant to be settled. Like, you know, that those were like the lands in the Old West were basically like homesteads and settlements and like, you know, townships that were propped up almost in the middle of nowhere. That's what we think when we think of the Old West anyway.
Yeah, it looks like a working man's outfit. Like it's not really a cowboy, but like a ranchman or whatever, ranchwoman either. Or because I mean, cowboy. I don't know. I see ranch people using a lasso way more than a cowboy.
Yeah,
and also like the colors too. Cowboys had like a more threatening dark color.
The interesting thing is that like when we see people who work on these sort of more rustic areas like farmsteads and like, you know, ranches and stuff like that, why do you think we always invoke like old feelings from them, like old and nostalgic feelings from them?
For rustic what?
For like, you don't even really need to call it rustic, but like people who like live on farms and like do animal husbandry, like why do you think we always look at them as like living an old life?
It's not really an old life as much as
simpler.
No, it's not really a valid criticism, but the first thing that could come to mind is saying it's an uncivilized life to an extent.
Yeah,
there's still civilization obviously, but it's like if they're focusing more on like the farms and stuff, and they're focusing their family on reproducing for the sake of maintaining their farms instead of focusing their efforts on bettering their society, you know, instead of bettering technology. And when you're working and you're focused on that farm, you don't have any resources to do anything else, you know?
Yeah.
You have to have that one person that strays away and starts like wanting to advance everything and bring them out of the so-called past that they live in. But some people just also want the life of being self-sufficient.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. If you see someone with like a really nice modern house but then have a farm, I really wouldn't consider that living an old life. Just a different one.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. Like, some people see like the rural South or like the rural, like, you know, areas of the country as like being extremely primitive in their thinking and their behavior. But the thing is that like it's just a separate kind of values. It's a separate sort of aesthetic, you know.
Yeah.
Like another thing about aesthetics is that like aesthetics not only come with their own sort of styles, they come up with their own sort of values, you know. Like that's big. That's a big thing. Like it really is all encompassing in terms of what you perceive and what you digest, you know. And a lot of that has to do with diet and what's available to you in terms of like your food, you know.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
It's all
environment, really.
It's self-sufficiency.
Yeah.
So, you know, living off of the meat from your cattle and whatever.
The fat of the land.
That's not keto.
What do you mean fat's not keto?
All right, next image.
Next picture, scene from Wild West Online, the failed title that never took off.
There would have been a dope title.
Yeah.
You know how that thing go. This is what I'd consider a more older life. It's gorgeous, but don't mind me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is
gorgeous, but it's an older life.
Well, this is definitely from an older life, literally. But,
literally? You know, it's from a video game.
Yeah, well, yeah.
They didn't have video games in 1776, Austin.
How do you know that? Whatever.
I was there.
Listen, I was told not to say things that I didn't know were factual. So they might find some I don't know.
Find like a Nintendo GS. And
yeah, they might find the Nintendo 3DS in old Alabama.
A Donny PS Vorta.
Yeah.
Somewhere. So
You know that guy from that song Big Iron, and the bullet fairly ripped the big iron on his hip, whatever. That was that. Yeah, the only reason why he actually survived that was because he had an iPhone in his pocket, and
Yeah, I
the
remember
bullet
that.
caught right in his chest. Yeah,
yeah, no, it wasn't an iPhone. It was an HTC One M8.
yeah, exactly.
I don't know how I remember that exact model.
Exactly.
It was the HTC One M8, and they actually sent him a new phone free of charge because of it.
Yeah, like, hey, I was in a duel. It's got a bullet in it. It saved my life. Can I get a new one? Yeah, sure.
All right, so to get famed for art, you just need to die, and to get a free phone, you just need to get shot in the chest.
And have it
So-
get caught by your shitty phone.
Hey, that was a pretty good phone at the time.
Oh yeah, you're
It
right.
was like an $800 phone.
Oh yeah, fair enough. But all right, so this piece, again, wide open spaces, staying within the same gradient, dirt,
Doit, you got a lot of doit.
and also sky.
Look at them cattle.
Where?
I don't know.
Those are horses.
This isn't very retrowave of me. It's just to I can't see things.
Well, we already did the.
I think
retro
these are rose tinted glasses. So I'm looking at horses and I want to see cattle, so I'm just saying cattle.
Oh, I get. Wow, rose tinted glasses. You're so funny. Hilarious.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's supposed to be this way.
But it's all obviously all of this is very down to earth, like we said. Very it's like if you notice all what.
Teddy Roosevelt shot in the middle of his speech, but his Galaxy S9 stopped it.
Who said that?
Me.
Oh, his Galaxy S9 stopped it.
His thick stacks of Galaxy S9s. Yeah. It looks like the. I don't know. It looks just the typical cowboy to me. Nothing really standing out to it. Just typical emotions associated with cowboys. Just very neutral.
Well, what I'm getting from it is
Buy my game.
no. Wait a
Never.
second. Oh, never mind. Anyway, what I'm getting from it is this is like what I'm getting from it is that the home, like the farmstead that they're coming off of, is like an island of civilization, basically. Like if you notice, like behind it and to the left and right, it's pretty much open. Also, hence why they need like horses to get there, probably. Like it's all
Or
very
to yoink some hay.
yeah, to yoink some hay.
Yoink some hay.
Jesus. Imagine.
Yeah, but nice piece.
Yeah, it is
I
nice.
rated 4 out of 7.
All right.
Next piece. That's something. Is this Fallout New Vegas?
That is wallpaper from Fallout New Vegas.
You know, I was actually really shocked when I went to Las Vegas last summer. I was flying in, and I've never really seen pictures of Las Vegas. But I'm looking, I'm like, man, this looks like Fallout. They did a good job.
Yeah.
They did a good job modeling after this game.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Fallout's always been really interesting in terms of art for me. Like they're really known for their release trailers, where it starts really zoomed in on a radio and slowly zooms out, and things are more and more chaotic the more you see of the image. You know?
Yeah.
And this kind of is the juxtaposition to that. This is more like, wow, look how great everything is over there, but is it really great?
Yeah, exactly.
That's the kind of feel that I'm
It looks
getting.
like the subject's going in there with the job to do, kind of. Like he's gonna do something that's gonna subvert that idea of ideal living, basically.
I mean, just looking at this, it looks like because it looks like the thriving New Vegas looking thing with the big tower and the buildings, but you just see also it's like making an X. I don't know if that means X marks the spot. His goal for that.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know. I like overanalyzing things and then being completely fucking wrong.
No, that's
Excuse my
a fair
language.
point.
But
That's a very fair point.
yeah, and then you have the lovely logo on the bottom right. So that adds to the piece.
Yeah. yeah. I mean, like it's like you said, like to reference the last picture, what I said, like it does seem like the island of civilization against like the extreme wilderness, and then the subjects are arriving there obviously with a job to do. Like this is very much like the previous picture. If you
Well,
think about
the
it.
people are going to just get away from the desolation of the Mojave wasteland.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going Fallout speak. But then you have the courier over there, who's the character in the shot.
Protag, yeah.
The protagonist. I mean, they don't know. They didn't play the game.
Well, if you haven't played Fallout New Vegas,
I'm literally
then
the only one in the world who's played that game, so I would
good
know. Yeah, but he's looking at it also with like an unfamiliar perspective. That could be biased because I know what the game's about, but also it just looks like it's a very foreign style to
Yeah.
it. It looks completely different than what he knows and what he's accustomed to.
Yeah.
Or she. I wasn't there for your character picking. So
It's a very good piece.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, and it does showcase well, I think, the Wild West aesthetic as the man with the job to do and the only one who can do it. That sort of thing.
but it's nice. We have one piece left though.
One piece left, and then we're gonna do
Mike's Mysteries.
Yeah.
Why'd you put air quotes there?
I just like putting air quotes about it.
Oh, okay.
The man with no name.
Chuck Norris.
Wait. No, that's Harrison Ford. Shut up.
Jack Norris.
That's Mark Mendoza. Come on.
Johnny Appleseed.
Yeah, exactly.
Mike Kemp.
No, that's you see, you made me forget his actual name.
Mike is so sick that he's actually just going and he's fighting crime as a cowboy.
Yeah. I don't think that's what the man with no name did, but I didn't see the good, the bad, and the ugly. That's Clint
I still
Eastwood.
haven't seen it yet. Clint Beastwood.
Clint Beastwood.
Beast mode. He went full sicko mode.
But hold on. How does this capture the Wild West aesthetic?
He looks trained. I haven't seen the movie, so this is all judging off the image. I'm gonna just put on my Sunday glasses. All right. He looks trained.
He looks dirty too.
From this pixel density, he looks like Daniel Radcliffe. He looks a little disheveled. The cape could be a sign of valor and a sign of being an outlaw.
Yeah.
He's wearing tight pants.
Yeah.
Good for riding horses.
Good.
Believe me, I would know.
Oh, really?
A long sleeve shirt, which is very much not smart in the Wild West, but if you don't want to get sand in your nether regions.
Yeah.
And the coloring just looks like it's a promo piece. That's the best way I could describe it.
Well, it is a direct promo piece for the movie.
It looks like a promo piece.
But the point I'm trying to make is that, like, the reason why he captures that aesthetic is the demeanor of the Wild West. It was very serious.
Yeah.
Like, it was very serious, and it was and you had to know exactly what you were doing. It was all like the thing we get, especially from the good, the bad, and the ugly, especially from that scene what that references.
Yeah.
Like, it's all boils down to skill. That's the thing, and like.
Yeah, I mean, he looks determined.
Yeah, skill, determination,
He's got
and the will
a job to
survive.
do.
Yeah, the will to survive. Like that's what.
I don't know
that's
the
how
job's name, but
yeah, that's how we characterize the sort of Wild West. Is that like it's all about having a job to do.
yeah.
Like they came to the West with a job because they had a job to do. They came there to settle the land and to work it and to become wealthy again.
Yeah. So I rate 6 out of 2.
It's 0 out of 0.
Nice.
All right, so
Ready for some Mike's Mysteries?
yeah.
All right, let's do this.
Yo, Mike, come on. Mike, they want a Mike's Mysteries. Do one, at least one. I know you're sick. Just do one.
No.
No.
A good mystery would be how long could you wait until next week? Mike's Mysteries, I'm sick.
Come on, let's do one. All right. Please. All right. All right. See it. Fucking piece of shit. Well, I guess the Mike's Mystery said goodbye, everyone. Mike is dead.
I hope you enjoyed that Mike's Mysteries.
Yeah, it was definitely a mystery.
Brought to you by the man himself.
Yep.
Michael, me.
Mike Kemp, the
That's
man, the legend.
That's me in the video.
He's gotten a little taller, but don't worry about it.
So, yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in.
Yeah, thank you.
It was a fun show.
We're gonna put
we all wish Mike the best. We all want him to have a speedy recovery.
Yeah.
He got a stomach bug of some sort. It's called I don't want to be a DJ on the show itis. But yeah,
I don't want to wear my tracksuit.
I got the tracksuit. I only wore it for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Thanks everyone for tuning in.
Yeah, thank you everyone. This has been Tales from the Bottom of the Ocean. Links in the description for Aaron's Instagram if you do want to check out his work. Like I said,
Mm-hmm.
we're going down.
We're going down.